today's is really the kind of the final exam for this off season. You know, we've been through phase 1, 2, and 3 now, and so today was about putting them in as many situations as we could to see how much they understand about our football, make them have to think and use all of the installation that's been presented to the guys. And we had really good work today, and got a ton of situations taken care of, and I really thought the guys really were focused into it. So we've had a very, very good off season at this point. We've got minicamp coming up next week, and it'll be in the books for for this season. So we've made a lot of progress. There's been a lot of communication emphasis here between coaches and players and all across the board, and I'm really pleased with what we're seeing. Energy was great again, and really we look like we've recaptured the mentality that we need to practice the way we need to practice, and we'll get through this mini camp, and then when we come back is when we really start football, and this is really OTA football, and you're really under control and managed extremely, and the guys really stuck to it and did a nice job, and we got a lot of work done.
What are you seeing to make you say that you've captured the mentality, right?
Really, to see if they're tuned in every day we've been out here. If I couldn't tell you after a couple days, I got to see, do they hold it throughout everything that we've been doing? I mean, meaning that they bring their energy, they bring their focus, they got good attitude about it, they're flying around and hustling around. It doesn't tell me anything if they do it for 4 or 5 times. It's do they do it every single day, which is really, that's the mark that we're on point, and the guys came through in a great way in that fashion.
Did that wane or waver last year or two?
No, not necessarily, but it's every year I would always tell you the exact same thing. The first thing we've got to do is recapture our work ethic, and it's been paramount, in the presentation of our approach and philosophy and all that. It doesn't matter about your football. If the guys don't work hard and bust their tails, then you're not making them the most of your opportunities, and so that's really what that's about. I think that there's a sense of energy that is there's some newness. You can feel it, and I really appreciate that the guys are in that mentality. There's some opportunities for positions and openings and stuff that are available, and you can feel them. They know, and they know what we're looking for. We spent a lot of time talking about what's important to us as a staff as we're trying to put our team together, the mentality that they need to bring, and the energy they need to bring, and the consistency they need to bring. And these guys matched the criteria there and gave themselves a good shot. It's going to be a very, very competitive camp, and with a lot of really exciting spots to watch, and it's going to be fun to see how it goes.
Shaquille was out here last year as a rookie, new guy. Now he's probably got more playing time experience than just about any DB that was out there today. What have you seen out of him this offseason?
He's been really comfortably involved with everything. He just looks like he's a veteran. He grew a ton out of that last season. I mean, we didn't have a lot of problems with him last year. There was not an inconsistency to him. There was not the rookie wall. There was none of that kind of stuff. He just kept cruising all the way through and had a really consistent first season, and he's just kind of picked up where he left off, and it's kind of like in a different, the other side of the ball. One of the things that Russell always impressed us with is how consistently he approached everything, and there was never much fluctuation in his intensity and focus. I see that in Shaq. He's had a great body of work that he put together here in this offseason getting ready, so it's a good sign. It means that last season didn't affect him in any negative ways, didn't distract him in any ways, and that's really important to see.
He talked about switching to the other side. How big of a switch is that?
It just depends on the guys, and we started early, and so we thought that we had to wait and see. Physically, it was no problem. He had played back and forth in earlier years. His mentality about it was fine. He was wide open to it. So that's most of it. If a guy feels uncomfortable and he's telling he's feeling uncomfortable, then he is. And he never balked at it at all. And there's no signs of it, any evidence at all that's going to be a problem.
Why did you do it? What was the thinking behind it?
Just want to do that because we think Maxie has done a really nice job on the other side, and we thought if we're going to balance it out and open it up, let's open it up on the right side and see what happens. So.
Tyler Lockett was pretty active today. Just this offseason for him being healthy, just what have you seen out of him?
Yeah, it's really been a blessing for him to be able to get his legs back underneath him. Last year it was a struggle throughout the season, the offseason for certain, but through the season itself, he was not able to do things in the same manner he had done it in years past, and that's really just workload. He just couldn't do as much. He had to take care of his legs more, so he's back at it. He's really playing fast. He has no resemblance of any kind of the after effects of the surgery or last year or the years before, when since he's been hurt. So that's real positive. He looked great today in particular.
Is there anything about having the Griffin brothers together that has surprised you? Something you didn't expect?
Well, I thought maybe I might see him, kind of walling off by themselves a little more. They're that's not happening. Shaquem is doing everything, just like you would hope he would do. There hasn't been any overt, display that they have to hang together. They got to sit next to each other and stuff like that. They're fine. They're doing great, and it looks just as natural as it could be.
Are you expecting Earl Thomas here Monday or Tuesday?
Yeah, it's mandatory, So we expect everybody to show up.
What conversations did you have with John Ryan after your draft? Michael Dixon.
We just talked about the competition. Johnny's had a good run with where he hasn't had to have guys in camp working against him. So, but he's known that that's the mentality around here, and always has been. And it's now it's his turn. And so we expect him to battle just like he is. He's not backed off one moment. He's going after it just like he has done in the past, and he's had a good good off season so far. So. This will take quite a while before we could ever make any kind of evaluation, but John's doing everything he can to be the kicker here, punter here.
Eric Reed's a free agent still right now. You've seen it for several years in San Francisco. What has stood out about him?
Consistency, hard-nosed, tough guy, got good speed, really good speed. Yeah, he's been a real physical player for the most part. He's been a good, good part of their team.
Do you think he can compete for a spot like that?
Yeah, I think he could compete. Yeah, I think he would do a nice job.
Have you had any discussions?
We talked about everybody. Yeah.
Is there a guy? Sorry, Joe. Is there a guy who impressed you with how good a shape he showed back up in, or how physically fit he's looked?
What's really jumped out is Chris Carson. Chris has looked incredible the whole time, the whole entire offseason. He hasn't missed one snap of anything. He's just looked so fit, and he's just so cut and quick and explosive and all that. He might be the guy that really, when you look at everybody, he's the guy that jumps out, in that regard. Doug and Russell had really good work up to now. They have really been the best they've ever been. Looked the tightest they've ever been. And Shoddy's helped them, I think, in some ways that shows that. But there's a bunch of guys. Dwayne Brown has looked phenomenal throughout the camp. I mean, he has just looked great. John Reed has been at his best. Another guy who really came back was Ethan Posick. Came back 20 pounds heavier after a really great offseason of work that we really wanted him to do, and he just carried it off and did a beautiful job. So I can keep going. There's a lot of guys, but those guys were really the guys that are kind of at the top of it. But and I'm going to get in trouble with Bobby and KJ and all the rest of those guys. But those guys look good.
Is running back one of the competitions you really look at?
Yes, yeah, certainly. And it's a really cool group. And CJ has really jumped out too. He's looked good now. He knows he's battling. And J.D. McKissick is a fantastic competitor on our team, and so. Mike Davis, Mike missed some time, which didn't work, out well for him. But when he came back, he's been fine, been 100% and all that. So, but he did open the door for some guys to get some other reps on him a little bit. But it's going to be a really exciting group. And what I'm anxious to see is the versatility show up, because they are very well-rounded players. And they all can catch and block and run inside, run outside. There's a real nice mix. All those guys could be third down backs, and that's really rare that you would have that on a team, because they can all catch the football really well. So,
With Process, does the team get involved in trying to change whatever he's doing in the offseason to keep him healthy?
We've been monitoring CJ throughout. He just has had some unfortunate soft tissue stuff. Then he had the break, in the shoulder, and he's had some tough stuff, and a hard ankle to recover from. But it looks like that's in the past. The break coming up will be really important for him too, that he really busts his tail. Let me say this: these 6 weeks coming up are like the 6 weeks of our lives. These guys have got to figure it out, how to find their way into a great regimen. We're really talking a bunch about their plan that they're setting. It's a long, long time to break from football and to come back and start, and 12 days later you're playing games, you know. So I'm really concerned about that, and have been. You know, last year was the first time we really had 6 weeks, you know, and it's a long break for these guys, and so that's after all this great work they had. They're in terrific shape right now. We have almost everybody's back out working. Then to take 6 weeks off, you know, that's a long haul. So I'm really hoping we can make a great impression on these guys. They'll do a great job working, you know, their schedules out so they can get together and stay fit and sharp and tough and all that, so that we can come back to camp and hit it.
Carson workload-wise, seems like he was never hurt. Is he back to full steam?
He's absolutely full steam. He's just had a great off season, and you know, he was really frustrated about not being able to finish with us last year, and he put it to work, man. He did it. So excited to see how he goes. He's going to play really good for us, you know, when we get back.
Brandon Marshall wasn't up there.
Yeah, he had an opportunity to get out of here for one day on the weekend, so we sent him home, getting a special rehab back there.
What's Deion Jordan? He hasn't been out there.
He had a surgery, kind of an after surgery to correct a little something, and everything went really well, and we're hoping that by camp time he'll be ready to rip and all that. But a little knee thing that it's been kind of, he's had some complications just over time, and so it was worth it to go ahead and clean this thing up. It was a really small issue, but it was one that was going to sit him down for 6 to 8 weeks, so we went ahead and did it. Yeah.
Thomas Rawls, he got hurt. He didn't seem quite the same after the injury. Did you have a similar concern about Carson's injury and
No, I didn't look at those guys the same at all. No, that was, I think, the individual case.
The importance of those 6 weeks you mentioned, and now that you've seen Penny through this period, what do you want him to do during that time?
I want him to come back as fast and strong as he can get. And you know, there's no football he can do, but just fast and strong. And so he's fit and ready to take on the challenge and see how far he can take it. He looks great. He's had a great camp. Shown so much to us about his vision and versatility and catching, and he's picked up all the schemes and stuff, protection stuff. He's done a beautiful job of thus far, and we won't really be able to really test him until we can get the pads on and all in terms of the physical part of the pass protection stuff. Scheme-wise, no problem. Really good learner. And he's been really exciting out there.
Do you feel like George Fant's going to be ready to go for training camp for you?
George could probably get out now if we need him to, but it's just not worth it to do that. He's chomping at the bit. He's had, he's had 2 years of lifting and getting the strength training in order. He looks great, and he's done everything. He's been here the whole time working with us, so we feel really good about the process of getting him ready. There's just no reason to do it. I don't know if you saw DJ Fluker, who'd missed some time, got out there today and should give us some more work next week. We had a chance to help him out too with something that came off of last season, and so we rested him a lot during this time, and now he's ready to go again.
There had been you guys had said Cam would have some more Cam chance for some more scans at some point in June. Has that happened yet, or is it going to happen?
No, it hasn't happened yet.
Anything else? Thank you.
All right, guys.